I'm in serious trouble, guys. I'm literally sprinting through the Mexican desert at 3 a.m. Some very official-looking folks are chasing us, their flashlights slicing through the darkness, while the guy I'm collaborating with for this video is struggling under a 40-pound special delivery pack strapped to his back. And just to be clear, I'm only here as a freelance journalist, tagging along to capture footage for my documentary. I'm not carrying anything illegal, but right now, it definitely feels like I'm running for my life too. Guys, I have never been this scared in my entire life. There's a drone buzzing above me. I jumped over a bush that tried to rip my clothes off mid-air. My lungs are on fire, guys. Please pray for me. There's sand in my mouth and ears. I need to find a place to hide before they get me. Guys, do you see that? A helicopter just appeared out of nowhere, throwing sand everywhere. Someone even set off a red flare that lit up the whole sky like a low-budget action movie. Is that a pew-pew being fired? Oh no, I'm not sticking around to find out. I need to get behind those rocks before I become a statistic. Phew! I think they lost me, guys. That was way too close. And if you're wondering how I ended up in this insane situation, well, this is how it all started. Mexico has countless entry points, each with its own story. Tourists like me arrive through polished airports. Migrants cross rivers and deserts, and cartels slip through back roads the government ignores. Since I wanted to explore smuggling routes without getting myself unalived, I started at Mexico City International Airport, the country's busiest, handling over 48 million passengers a year. From there, I headed farther west, into regions where cartel influence isn't just a rumor, it's the air people breathe. Take Culiacan, for example. It's widely documented as a stronghold for the Sinaloa cartel and its operations. Then, farther north is Sonora, a region known for long-established trafficking corridors and years of documented cartel-related conflict. My fixer and translator, Mateo, met me near a station. He had that calm, unshakable look of someone who already understands the danger I'm stepping into. He's a real mule, someone who moves packages across territories. And he's the one guiding me undercover. And don't even ask how I managed to convince him. Let's just say money talks around here. Meeting Mateo had my nerves flipping. He put things plainly. The closer you get to the US border, the lesser the roads belong to Mexico, and the more they belong to the groups that run things. Northern Mexico isn't just towns and highways. It's a network of power. Some areas, including parts of Nuevo León, are known hotspots for kidnapping, extortion, and organized crime control, according to human rights reports. Mateo looked me in the eyes and said, "Follow me, stay quiet, and don't pretend you're brave." Well, good advice, but my stubborn head only followed half of it. Well, blame my curiosity and the bit of stupidity. Anyway, we pressed deeper into the Sonoran Desert, towards smuggling routes that move migrants, drugs, and couriers every night. One major corridor feeds straight into the Tucson sector of Border Patrol, one of the busiest zones in the US. And eventually, that's where the story really begins. But before you understand why I was out there, you need to know about the people who built this entire nightmare. Guys, the deeper I went into Mexico, the truth quickly became clear. You can't understand that desert chase unless you understand the people who control the desert, the cartels. They didn't just appear overnight. They evolved in the 1980s, spreading faster than bad news on social media. Now they're split in two. El Mayo, who operates in the shadows, and Los Chapitos, El Chapo's sons, who inherited the empire like it was a small bakery instead of a multinational crime corporation. Although some of these adult candy lords, including El Mayo, have been caught and sentenced to life in US prisons, their crews keep the business running like they never left. Real companies dream of these numbers. The cartel launders tens of billions every year. But behind all the profit is the real horror. More than 80,000 Americans die from overdoses yearly, with fent at the center of the storm. Now that you know who runs the game, let me show you their pawns, the mules who cross the desert carrying enough poison to wipe out a city. This is where the real journey begins. So, our route dragged us toward one of North America's most infamous smuggling trails, El Camino del Diablo, a stretch so brutal it's blamed for migrant unalivings almost every year and is widely considered one of the deadliest crossings on the continent. This is where mules walk for days, carrying poison disguised as backpacks. Mateo led me to a drop zone, one of the desert's unofficial loading points. From behind a bush, we crouched and watched oversized backpacks moving slowly. Careful steps, no talking. These weren't hikers, they were kids, mostly teenagers, some paid, some forced, carrying fent tablets worth millions. Some volunteered, some were in debt, and some, according to investigations, were recruited straight from migrant shelters. We followed from a distance. Their pace was pure survival, every step and breath repeated thousands of times. Studies say many mules walk 20 to 30 miles before dropping their loads or being told to cross themselves. Hours passed as the desert flipped from burning hot to freezing cold. My legs were shaking and I wasn't even carrying anything illegal. I saw one mule collapse and the others drag him back up, because falling behind here means disappearing forever. Watching them felt like watching desperation turned into labor. No one spoke, everyone trembled. My sense of humor was the only thing keeping me together, so I whispered to Mateo, "If I pass out, tell people I went out bravely." Mateo sighed and said, "You'll go out loudly and annoyingly." Ouch. But if you think the mule situation is bad, wait until you see how creative cartels get when they're not using human legs. After this, your car, your drone, and maybe even your ceiling fan will never feel innocent again. Let me clear something up. Adult candy smuggling isn't just backpacks in the desert. That's the beginner level. The real operation is criminal engineering, where winning brings millions and losing gets you turned into a missing poster. Mateo pointed to the most ordinary thing, a pickup truck. He slid a screwdriver under the dashboard, tapped twice, and a hidden compartment popped open like it was made for crime. Inside were pills packed tighter than my unresolved trauma. And that was only the start. Cartels hide that poison everywhere. Engine blocks, dashboards, seats, gas tanks, and fake floors. They do it so well that Border Patrol sometimes looks like they're unboxing cursed car parts on YouTube. But if the cars impress you, the tunnels will break your spirit. I was told the Sinaloa cartel built underground routes so advanced that Amazon warehouses could take notes. Electric rails, ventilation, full lighting, reinforced beams, and one tunnel even had a smuggler slide. The infamous Tijuana Super Tunnel stretches over 2,000 feet, fully lit and rail-equipped, basically a luxury subway for crime. Another looked so clean and professionally wired that someone must have hired a contractor with Yelp stars. Mateo says, some tunnels cost $1 million. And I was like, $1 million to risk dying underground with no Wi-Fi? Inspiring. Then the sky gets involved. Drones, guys. The cartels turn the border into an illegal Amazon Prime. Quadcopters drop small fent and meth at night, silent and GPS guided. U.S. authorities have documented hundreds of drone incursions. And yes, they use aircraft too. So if you think the smuggling methods are wild, wait until you see what's actually inside them. The main villain is fent, an adult candy so potent even experienced agents take a step back. It comes as rainbow pills, fake ox, or candy-like nightmares that make Halloween feel like Russian roulette. U.S. officials call fent the deadliest drug in American history, causing over 75,000 deaths in a year, which is more than all U.S. military deaths in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan wars combined. In Arizona, authorities seized 4 million fent pills in one bust, the biggest in the state's history. And fent isn't traveling alone. M is right behind it, screaming, "Hey, I still exist!" The Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, data shows seizures across the Southwest remain high, and today's crystal M often tests at nearly 95% purity, making it stronger, cheaper, and deadlier. So, how normal is this insanity? Well, Denver once seized 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl pills, the largest in state history, and it barely made a headline. That's how normalized the drug crisis has become. And if the desert is terrifying, wait until you see how easily this slips past US checkpoints in normal traffic. We often picture smuggling like a Netflix chase. Silhouettes running through sand, wolves howling, and someone whispering, "Vámonos." But the real danger isn't in the desert. It's wearing a uniform, drinking bad station coffee, and having the power to ruin your day. Over 90% of America's hard drugs are intercepted at legal border crossings, not in the desert. They move through ports of entry in regular traffic, inching along like everyone else headed to brunch. San Isidro is the first place Mateo drags me to, and calling it busy doesn't even scratch the surface. This place is one of the busiest land crossings on the planet, a non-stop human river where cars, bags, strollers, and secrets all pour through the same gates. I watch drivers do their best, "nothing suspicious in my trunk" face. In the inspection lanes, everything changes. Exhausted officers, traumatized dogs, and traffickers looking like stressed parents on a Costco run. Then we head to El Paso, where the border crossing is busy 24/7, right across from Ciudad Juárez, one of Mexico's most contested trafficking hotspots. The numbers from this corridor are so extreme they almost don't feel real. Eventually, we hit the Texas crossings, Laredo and Brownsville. Tourists barely know they exist, but traffickers never forget. Laredo alone moves over $200 billion in trade every year, a nonstop parade of trucks and trailers rolling across the border. Brownsville, on the other hand, feels different, quieter, sunnier, almost friendly. Retirees walk their dogs while someone nearby quietly smuggles M worth a city's budget. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Smugglers don't just use the desert. Most come through legal ports of entry, often smuggled by U.S. citizens. And the cartels aren't the only ones evolving. On the U.S. side, the hunters are upgrading too. Drones, radar, armored trucks, and caffeine levels that could qualify for medical emergencies. So if you think the cartels are the only killers here, think again. It all begins with stage 1, the blow-up. The DEA launched Operation Take Back America, a nationwide crackdown sweeping through states like an angry parade. Hundreds were arrested and billions in shipments were disrupted. Stage 2, the tech war. Forget binoculars. Border agents now use NASA-level tools, counter-drone systems, heat towers, motion sensors, and radar tracking smugglers like sharks track blood. The minute a cartel van moves, alarms go off, waking every agent within 50 miles. Stage 3 is less talked about. Some officers stay clean, others end up on cartel payroll. Once a badge turns, it becomes a target, a tracking beacon for a pew-pew. After a while, an informant came to meet us. His badge says officer, but his eyes say, "I have a second job." He led Mateo and me to a staging camp disguised as an agricultural project. Plastic crates, tarp tents, friendly smiles, but the boxes reeked of panic and felony charges. Honestly, watching police mingle with cartel runners felt like seeing a firefighter smoke next to a gas leak. Out here, everyone hunts everyone. And there's always a moment when an investigation stops feeling cinematic and starts feeling like a documentary you wish you could forget. This is that moment. Behind every fentanyl backpack, cartel tunnel, and desert sprint, there's a body count. And it doesn't start in the US. It starts here, in the dirt. Mass graves lie under the sun like open secrets. Mexico has uncovered thousands, filled with bones, skulls, and the remains of those who vanished for asking the wrong question. Some graves are found by families with nothing but shovels and heartbreak. Some are discovered because a dog won't pass, or the desert heat exposes the truth. In Sinaloa, Jalisco, and Sonora, the regions I walk through, brutal unaliving aren't rumors. They're warnings, messages, reminders carved into bone. A horrifying but normal routine. And being a mule comes with benefits like dehydration, betrayal, and no option to quit. Cross the cartel and you're not fired, you're erased. Some swallow adult candy pellets that burst inside them. Instant overdose, instant silence. And the cruelty doesn't stop at the border. It unalives. Over 100,000 people die from overdoses each year, and fent is now the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45. I've once sat with families who lost their kids to pills that look like candy, small, blue, stamped like party favors. A mother in Arizona clutched her son's hoodie like it kept her upright. He thought it was Percocet. He never woke up, she said. A father in Colorado showed me a police report like it was a baby photo. 1.7 million fake pills were seized in this state alone. Imagine how many weren't. And when you step back and see the graves, the grieving families, and the overdose stories, one truth hits harder than any chase. This isn't a crisis on the way. It's already here. And right now, it's winning. Guys, the desert is quiet now. Too quiet. No trucks, no radios, no helicopters trying to turn me into a headline. My fixer has left me to escape the officers. It's just me, sitting in the same sand I almost bit the dust sprinting across, finally realizing this journey was never really about following a mule. It was about watching a system grind people down and leave their bones behind. When you follow a mule long enough, you start to see the entire system. Cartels making billions, the U.S. freezing assets in state after state, DEA raids kicking doors off hinges nationwide, and funerals the news forgets in 24 hours. You meet parents burying their kids over one fake pill, migrants forced into being mules. The cartel gave them two options: carry death or become it. Following a mule didn't just teach me about crime, it taught me about cost, the human kind. The kind that lingers long after the story ends. Oh, I think I can actually see the city lights from here. It's still a few miles of hiking, but if I keep moving, I should make it back by dawn. If you want me to keep diving into the unexpected while you watch safely from your couch, hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and please say no to adult candies. See you in my next crazy adventure.